Hello and welcome to today's video. This is with regards to Inktober, although the inks that I'm using aren't inks, they're watercolours, and they're from the dispenser that you can see on screen now, which is a fine line masking fluid bottle. You can get pens such as Rapidograph or Isograph pens that do a similar kind of thing. Onto the artwork that we're doing. I was watching Anya follow the White Rabbit, that's her YouTube page, and I'll put details below so that you can link up with that. But she has a Norwegian guitar, and it's a really nice guitar, the Norwegian. And I said, why don't you paint that? And then I thought, well, if I'm telling people to paint certain things, why don't I have a go myself? So that's where we are with this particular drawing that I've got in front of you now. This image is a great example of foreshortening and perspective. So let's have a look and see what we can do with it in our video. Okay, we're going to start this piece of artwork by transferring the drawing that I've just shown you onto the actual final substrate paper. Now that's some mixed media paper. I'm not using watercolor in this particular instance. It's not absolutely necessary. I'm going to pin this down now with a little bit of tape so it doesn't move while I'm making the transfer. If I can get the edge of this this tape, which is proving difficult to. You only need a little bit. Make sure that that is properly vertical, and there you go, you're there, you're done. So now it's a matter of drawing the guitar onto the paper. So I'm pressing down, and hopefully that will. I'll not use this one because it's got an automatic detract thing on it. So I'm just making sure that these lines are all put on. If I miss anything, I can put it back in later. And I'm going to check in a second anyway, and that's the reason why I've taped it down, so I can keep checking to make sure that I've got that all set up properly. So we're coming down here now, what they call the top nut, and see if I can create a straight line going down. I don't think I'm going to transfer all the detail of this, and this tracing. I've made slight adjustments in the drawing to the original drawing, so there is ever so slight differences. But this is an opportunity for you to do that when when you're making these tracings and things like that. If you see a particular issue that might be involved, then make adjustments then before you start committing to your painting or your drawing. So that comes right down to there, and that goes like that. We've got this side as well. It's got this funny area here. And again, it's got this other funny area as well. And then we've got the string anchor bar, or whatever they call it. Your bridge. And I think I'll make sure that I've got all the other details in. This by no means is a exact representation of the guitar. It's just giving an idea that that's what it is. It's a guitar. So if some of these dots or some of these things here are not in the exact place where they ought to be, then you know that's just artist interpretation, really. We're not going for absolute accuracy. And even with these lines here that represent the strings, not being too accurate with that. Don't really necessarily want it to be like that. So you may just about see that. I've got a tracing that I'm happy with onto the paper. So we'll put that away. Just so that you can see this, I'm going to draw that off camera and get it all so that you can see it. So I'll be back in a minute or two. So you can see this now. What we now need to do is use our tool that we're going to use, and that's watercolor paint, as I've already noted, in one of these pin-based dispensers. It's normally for masking fluid, but I put this watercolor in it and it will hopefully work. I've had a few goes with it, so let's get on with doing it then. Might take a short while to start bleeding through. You do get a little bit stuck these sometimes, but no, that's working fine. That. And the trick is with this is be loose. Try and be as loose as you possibly can. There's its little logo that it has. It's an Ovation guitar, what I'm doing, although it's not exactly the same. I mean, there will be inaccuracies in this. That's for that, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to remember that. That's for that. That's actually that area I'm gonna darken out. And then we'll come down here. We've got a bit that goes there. And I'm not massively worried about it being, the lines being super accurate. although I would like the ink to flow. And as you get a bit higher up, you can put a bit more pressure on the bottle, so you get a bit more ink coming out of it. And guitars have these like dots, and they have frets and things like that. I'm only going to represent that. There's no point in trying to get it exactly accurate, because different guitars have different fret and dot points, so, and I'm not right sure what they are. So we're not that far off getting this segment of the drawing done. And then we'll just have to hatch certain things in. There's another section there. We'll bring lines down, and then that goes to the anchor bridge. And what I'm going to do is kind of represent lines like that. It's not exact, but we'll get on with this. Now, all of this is shade now. That's going to be very strongly shaded. And round here will be strongly shaded as well. So wherever it's near to it, for example, it will always be strongly shaded. As it gets far away, it's less so. So right. So what I'm assuming here is that light's coming from this direction, and it's casting a fairly strong shadow because it's in that corner. So this part here will be darker than that part there, and the floor really, it's neither here nor there. We can just we can put that in like that. Might be a bit dark round there. And like I say, the closer to the object it is, the darker it will be. I'm going to put a bit like that. And that, apart from odd bits here and there, is that drawing done. Although you could put certain things in it. It's like that. Now, what I'll have to do is wait until it's all thoroughly dry. I'll just suggest that this area here is darker than... I'm going to put a little bit in, because the next stage of this drawing is you'll see reason why I'm doing this. But remember, this is watercolor, so you can do things with watercolor. And with regards to tonal issues, just going to give me device a bit of a maintenance. Sometimes it gets a little bit blocked up, so you have to coax it through a little bit. So I'm not far off doing being done with this. So as you can see, it's fairly obvious that that side there is darker than that, which I'm not going to paint that side. So that for the moment is this part of the painting done. So I'll come back in a bit when this is dry, and we'll start using a brush like this to pick out certain areas, tonally speaking, and then we're done. We're now dry, so it's time to get some water, and want to pick out areas that we can tone, such as this. Notice how it goes like that once you've put water on it. It still keeps some of its line work that we originally put in, but you also get a bit of brushy work as well, which is nice, and that's why it's called line and wash. Get that bit in there if we can, and we've got bits like that. Make that a little bit more solid. And it's really about playing with it now. Track a bit of the guitar itself. Some of them have some really nice wood effects on them, so I'm going to try and make that so it's like that. So a little bit more water. We're not far off done. Just directional work here, and voila. You could work a lot more on this and put a lot more detail in, but just for demonstration purposes, this is really what I wanted to show you, and that is using a pin fine line bottle with the thing on the end of it, so that you can get some really nice line work. And rather than use it for mask, I've used it for putting watercolour painting. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you again on another creative art show coming soon.